Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Martha.
I am so glad to be here on this wonderful sunny day. And welcome to all the new people. I'm Martha. And I don't know if you know me, but I'm in the Bible. I'm the sister of Nat Lazarus. So that's who I am. And I'd like to meet the new people today. And the old ones just chime in too. So why don't we go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves?
Betty, why don't you start?
I'm Betty.
Well, Betty, I'm so glad to meet you.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming so far. That was great.
My pleasure, thank you.
Oh, we're glad to have you.
Nancy Cochran.
Nancy, she is the lady that brought all kinds of things for Marilyn about Elvis. She knows I love Elvis. And oh, I'm just so tickled, Nancy, with that tape you brought. It was so moving. You know, Elvis sang from his soul, and it was so wonderful to see him on that tape singing again.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And,
Hi Martha, it's Darcy here.
well, Darcy, how are you doing?
I'm doing much better.
You're out of the hospital.
Yeah.
You surprised us all. You knew you might go, and you surely did.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to be getting better now.
Good. I'm taking that as fact.
Okay, I think that's great. And do that, because what you own and claim is what you get.
Right. Oh, and I have to say, I saw you dancing over there with Elvis.
Oh, that music just had me going, I'll tell you.
You really were.
I just love Elvis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my name is Mary.
Mary, you've been here before.
Yes, I have.
And thanks for coming back.
You bet.
And I hope you're having a good day.
I am. Thank you.
Oh.
Martha, this is Mac, and before Marilyn went into trance, I forgot to ask her how long she wanted to stay in, because she likes me to bring her out after a certain time. Can you check with her and see how long she wants to stay in trance?
Sure do. She would like you to inform you at an hour, but she has some information that might take longer, so just let her know when the hour is, would you?
I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And Mac, thank you for all your help.
I'm glad to do it, Martha.
I'm Aki.
Aki, glad to meet you.
That's me.
Glad that you came, and have a good afternoon while you're here.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm Linda Ellison.
Well, hello, Linda. I'm glad to meet you, too.
Glad to meet you too.
And I'm so glad you came this afternoon. And I'm glad everybody's here, and I'm sure John will want to meet you all too, so he's coming in right now, and we'll have you introduce yourselves for John, so be prepared. Toodaloo!
Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
Good
Hi, John.
afternoon.
I am John the Divine, and I'm glad that everyone is here this afternoon. This is a lovely room of people, and I'm so glad that you're all here this afternoon. You are the right people to be here, and I hope you enjoy some of the information today that I have for you. I can see there are some people here this afternoon I have not met. Would you like to introduce yourself so I can get to meet you too?
My name is Betty, John, and I'm happy to be here.
Betty, I'm so glad you're here, and I know that you are taking care of your medical problems, and we might have a special treat for you later this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Nancy Cochran.
Well, Nancy, thank you for all your support and all these channelings. It's very helpful that your energy's here to help Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, John. This is Darcy.
Well, Darcy, we hope you're doing better.
Yes, I think I am.
Well, we're glad that you're up and around and could come this afternoon.
Thank you.
Hi, John. This is Mary.
Mary, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And I'm Mac, John.
Mac, we really like having all your help and assistance, so thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Aki.
Aki, welcome, and so glad that you're joining us this afternoon.
Hello, I'm Linda Ellison.
Linda, we're glad to have you here, and thank you for coming. Well, there is some new changes definitely happening and some that are continuing from before. And I thought this afternoon you might be interested in hearing some spiritual background of why things are going such as they are spiritually in your lives and in the planet. And before we get into that, does someone have a question that they brought for this afternoon?
I have one for Marilyn.
Yes, Mac.
I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. She was looking toward the east and she saw a big red spot in the sky and she saw the outline of a spaceship. Can you comment on that?
Yes, I can. She has been a little envious of all the people seeing spaceships, and she hasn't. So she started praying to see a spaceship. Now, most of the spaceships are appearing in other countries primarily, if you've noticed. There have been sightings in the United States, but your media, your government still has a restriction on the truthfulness of that, so it's more limited to the United States sightings. And we wanted her to see what she so wanted to see. So to get her attention, we put this red spiritual color next to the spaceship, so when she looked up to see the light of the change in the traffic signal, there was this red light, and she thought, what am I seeing? And she looked again, and 3 times it was there, and then she realized next to it, partially hidden by a cloud, but with the sun shining on it, was the outline of a spaceship. So it wasn't very obvious to everybody, but the redness got her attention, and she did get to see a spaceship. Not up close and personal, but she got to see her spaceship, and we wanted her to know her prayers are being answered, and we did our best to do that.
Thank you, John. She'll be pleased to hear that.
Thank you for asking.
John, I have a question.
Yes.
I had an incident that happened on the 2nd, which was a Wednesday, and it was in the dream, and I had a big snap, and it woke me up. And when I sat up and looked around, what I think happened was that I jumped a dimension. Everything changed from that moment forward. And that was the day that my heart went out of sync also.
It was such a big jump that you couldn't handle it all at once.
Right, and
yes.
that's what happened.
People that are here today, that is an excellent example of why you change very gradually. People call it the process. You process more light into your life in little bits and pieces. In the Bible, you will find the passage that says precept upon precept. It's like step upon step. If all the energy of who you truly are became awakened at once, you will have that electrical overpowering situation. It can blow your circuits, which in your case, Darcy, it was overpowering, not to the point that it was totally a problem, but it was a severe problem. And you did need especially assistance medically, and I'm so glad you took advantage of that assistance. I know when you were talking with Marilyn, you said you were hesitant about going for various reasons. Just be well aware that you are being taken care of spiritually, and that the financial aspects are not to be as concerned about as your basic health. And you've made the right steps. Obviously, we're glad you're here this afternoon. And yes, you have been working very hard on growing spiritually and doing everything you can to find more truth in your life of who you are. And yes, it was an overpowering situation for you. So we're glad that you came through that hurdle and are doing better now.
I am too. I thought it was an overload that happened. I wasn't really sure, so thank you for confirmation. And my guides have told me that I need to slow down patience and let go and let others. So I'm working at doing that.
Well, be rest assured there's many people out there are trying desperately to keep growing spiritually at this time and keep up with all the energy coming in from the photon belt.
Mm-hmm.
And it is keeping all of us working readily to keep up with all the changes, energy shifts that are going on. And you're just experiencing what many are experiencing, but sadly it was a little bit more than, hopefully next time it'll be moderated down, so it's a little more of a moderation in the transitional shift.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you people for being here, and some of you are probably aware of numerology and the energy messages and communication that comes with numbers. And if you are, then you would be very much into understanding the year that we just left, which was 2010. And the number significant to 2010, if you add up the 2 and 1, you get a 3. That's a catalytic energy. So last year was a very big setup for change, for what's going on in various parts of your lives and the planet. This catalytic change has allowed many disruptions in your lives, which are causing difficulties in various ways. And so it's important to understand this is all part of a larger plan and picture. And it's important to know that this catalytic change is actually necessary as we're moving closer and closer to 2012. It was last year to set up the necessary following sequences of events on the planet to bring you into that ultimate time of 2012 that's approaching. As you know, one of the big changes that has been happening in this last year was the financial situation of this government, which has done a terrible job as far as some people are concerned, as far as, am I going to lose my house, or if I've lost my house, what do I do now? And it has broken the trust of the people with the banking institution, the insurance companies, and the investment process. So there has been a great change in rearranging and disturbing of that institution that's been so based in our society for not only the 200 years of your country, but actually the financial basis for the last several thousand years. You see, it was necessary for this to happen. It was essential that the changes occur, and last year was the heavy energy to propel that. Without changing that energy, which was the basis for our old banking system, which was based in old paradigm and energy of greed, where the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And fortunately, those in this country, the middle class was quite well off compared to other countries around the world. And sadly, in some of those countries, it was much more severe than in our country until later in the year last year, as things kept getting worse and worse in the last year. So you see, that old paradigm could no longer sustain the economic paradigm that was in existence from that period of the old days, the ancient times, that had been perpetuated down and down until it was still the basis of this country. Even though people didn't recognize it for what it was, the dark hats have sleight of hand, and so therefore they were able to conceal the real basis of the economy for many, many years. People doing as well as they were did not go in search of where the philosophy was coming from. And this change has been destitute to so many people, and you call it a recession. However, spiritually, we do not call it